of the day. It's your innovation coach, Rob Jackson, and welcome to another edition of the Innovate Guam podcast, the podcast where we look at all things innovation, technology, and improvement related to the island of Guam. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Substack. My podcasts drop at the beginning of each week. Also, be sure to check out my Innovate column in the Pacific Daily News every first and third Friday of each month. Our guest today for the podcast is Mr. Fred Granillo. Fred is the network director for the Pacific Islands Small Business Development Center Network, headquartered at the University of Guam. Fred brings with him over 3 decades of business development and financial consulting experience across Guam, the Northern Marianas Islands, and Micronesia. Fred earned his MBA from Amberton University in Texas and has a proven track record of helping entrepreneurs launch and expand their businesses by connecting them with resources, capital, and mentorship. Under his leadership, the Pacific SBDC network has grown into a critical support system for regional economic development, business innovation, and digital transformation on island communities. Fred also led major training efforts and outreach programs that promote entrepreneurial literacy, digital upskilling, and innovation readiness, especially important as we work to build Guam into this 21st century tech and innovation hub. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Mr. Fred Granillo. Fred,
Hello,
how are you
everyone.
doing?
Good. Thank you very much for having me, Rob. Appreciate it.
No, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Really excited to have you.
Thank you.
So we have a tradition here. We start off with some icebreaker questions to kind of see where your head is at in terms of innovation. So the first question is, what's your definition of innovation and what does innovation mean to you?
Um, Innovation is probably a couple of things. Personally, it could mean kind of looking at new approaches or ways of thinking that's going to enhance my life personally for me and my family. New skills or experiences, that could mean embracing new technologies, learning new skills, or finding creative solutions to everyday challenges that come up. But personally, it's about looking at trying to find new ways, technologies maybe to help for like those things that help us personally, like personal finance management. For those of us who are getting older, maybe even looking at retirement kind of focus items. But those are kind of important items, ways to help us uh, help our children, things like that. Those are personal key items that I would probably looking for. Maybe that could be used through apps or things like that, or things we could find through on the internet. But
Absolutely.
professionally, I would like to say it's maybe looking at uh, referring to helping those, like especially our clients, implement new ideas, improve their business processes, or at least their understanding of what they're supposed to be involved with in terms of their business. We want to make sure we assist our clients uh, through their business planning process. So that means understanding all the key components of how to set up their business, understanding the background of it, how they're going to manage it, how they're going to market it, and then how they're going to operate it on a daily basis. These things include understanding the competitiveness, things like that, being innovative in terms of drawing on feedback from customers and taking advantage of those advances in technology that are coming in. And we definitely, can talk about that in great detail, I guess, but there's a lot of things we're looking to help our clients with. But the way that we do it here in our program is through professional development. So in order for us to help our clients, we have to continually get better and continually improve our knowledge and skill. So we do that internally. We try to help each other gain increased knowledge. If one of us gains some knowledge, then we try to share it across our network. So we have a couple of professional developments we do during the year. And then we also have an annual conference we go to through our national organization where we have a lot of educational items that include AI. It's always about professional development in order to stay on top of the key items that will help through, like, for example, AI, financial, marketing, these kind of topics. So if we stay on top of it, then we can really continue to help our clients going forward.
Standing. So, what's your favorite innovation or favorite piece of technology that you use either at work or at home?
Mhm. Right. So for us here at the SBDC, we use a couple of key tools that help us on an ongoing daily basis. Our key communication and I guess it's also like a collaborative tool is Dropbox. Dropbox is a prime example of that kind of communication and collaboration that goes on for us. So Dropbox is used for our client key documentations, supporting information, these kind of things. Because we need a repository, right, for all the information that's needed to assist our clients. So, like, for example, we have our system that already houses our because it's a proprietary system just primarily for our type of program, right, to help
Right.
clients. So that kind of keeps all our counseling information and our training information. So that's a given. That's kind of separate. I guess we're talking more like something that anyone else could use as long as they purchase it. So that's why Dropbox is in that category. So these are outside of that. And so this is more like all that supporting documentation that we get involved with, like their business plans, their business licenses, our forms that we may have. So these kind
Yeah.
of things where it comes into, it's quite important.
Yeah.
And so another item is how we manage our program and how we maintain our collaboration and communication across our whole network, which is, as you understand, is huge. It goes all the way from Palau all the way to Marshall Islands, which is a huge footprint. Just
Yes.
so, and we're all somewhat remote. So, tool we use is Zoom. Zoom helps us uh, break down that remoteness and keeps us all on a consistent communication level and collaboration level for program objectives and program management.
Yeah. 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 Outstanding. So let's get into the meat of our um, discussion. But before we do that, kind of reflecting on kind of where you've been and your journey, your professional journey. What motivated you to pursue your current role in supporting entrepreneurs across the Pacific?
You mean kind of like how I came to this
Not to
position?
SBDC, yeah, to the
Right.
office and why this role?
So what happened back in the later 90s, I fell into becoming a commercial banker. So my role as a commercial banker brought me to meeting up with the Guam SBDC personnel and
Hmm.
working with them to assist their clients that I could possibly fund as a commercial banker. So that's how they came across my radar. And so I got to know the individuals here, which were the business advisors then, and then getting to know the program as well, how it worked. And
Yeah,
as a banker, you can only go so far in helping and working with a client. You could assist them, but you're limited in terms of what you could do. So, but I found looking at how the counselors at that time were assisting their clients, and the depth that they were really helping them was quite interesting. I really in saw that how that was, and I wished that, you know, if I had the opportunity, I would like to kind of get in that kind of role, because you make more of a contribution. You could really use your business knowledge. As long as you had that an extensive business knowledge, then it was really helpful to the clients. So it looked like a rewarding type of position. So once that an opportunity finally came up some years later, um, I did seek to get a position with them. And once I left banking, uh, uh, I looked for an opportunity that came up, and one did in 2010. And so I applied, and I was able to get in 2010. And then, fortunate for me, I became the network director in 2020.
Outstanding. So, Fred, can you take us on kind of like a big to small discussion about kind of the organization of SBDC? How are you aligned with the Small Business Administration? What's kind of the organization? How are you linked up to the national level? And how does it link down throughout all of the different island locations?
Oh, okay. So the SBDC here, it's not a standalone unit or entity. It's a program only. So it is a program that is hosted. Uh, so so our host is the University of Guam. So what happens is the SBA has the funding, and then they give it to the Americas SBDC, which is our kind of like our parent organization. So we're one
Okay.
of 63 lead center networks out there. So this goes throughout the whole country and the territories. So that funding comes through SBA to America's SBDC. So they give that funding, and then they allocate it based on tiers. So they have the large tiers, which are like, you know, California, Texas, Florida, like that. And then the medium terms with more of those medium level states, and then smaller tiers like us. We're smaller tier, all of the territories plus maybe like the smaller states. You know, they have some states like
Yes.
Maine, New Hampshire, Wyoming, that don't have such large populations, so we all fall in that same tier. So having said that, so that's how the money flows to us. And then our host, the University of Guam, which is a similar setup throughout the whole country. They're usually educational institutions primarily. Uh, Community colleges, universities like that are the normal hosts for our program. And then so we'll get that, they'll get that funding, and then they have to match it. It's a cash match program. And then from there, once we started in back, our starting point was 1995. So over the years, though, little by little, they were started to add on a network. So it started for Guam, and then they little by little developed network to include Yap, Chuk, Kosrae, Palau, and then RMI. So it little by little, Pohnpei is our more of our latest one. It's in the process of being reopened. So so we're in process with that. So we're this is how we're able to build a network. We actually, you know, go out to these governmental entities and set up relationships, and then
Mhm.
get them talk to them and get them to buy in and see the benefit of having a SBDC office in their location to help their small business and the economic development on their islands. So that's kind of how it
Outstanding.
came about. And then so we've been in, as I noted, since 1995. So we're now celebrating our 30th anniversary this year.
Outstanding. Yeah. So clarify for me, Fred, is SBDC an actual part of the Small Business Administration out of DC, or are you an associated spinoff?
So the SBDC is a program underneath the SBA.
Okay.
So,
So
but we're not,
program under
but we
Small
are not,
Business Administration.
but it's not a direct link. It's just a funding link.
Understood.
Mm. So
Understood.
we
And
are not
obviously,
federal employees.
it is um, a funded program to help grow small business throughout the United States because that's important. That's kind of the backbone of really, business and entrepreneurship throughout the country.
Right.
Yeah. Do
That's
you
true.
find that there's more of a need out here for your educational services because it's so remote and more of a smaller market, that there's more of a need, more of a demand for SBDC's services here in Micronesia?
I think there is a increased value to our services here because out here, maybe you'll find some people that aren't as sophisticated in some areas. So that's where our contribution to help them understand and learn about the small business aspects and what are the requirements and what are the things that one would have to do to actually establish and operate their uh, their business here in our region.
So tell me, how do you see your role in, um, having SBDC shape the startup ecosystem and fostering innovation-based entrepreneurship throughout Guam and throughout Micronesia? What's really kind of your startup and innovation mission, if you will, at SBDC?
It pretty much just speaks to our mission, and our mission is, assisting small business owners in our region, right, and helping them get into business and develop their businesses. So how is that done? That role is done through one-on-one confidential business counseling. So, and this will be on a varied topics of whatever the need of the small business person is, whatever they need in terms of understanding what they need to do to get established in business. So it could be as simple as how do you get a business license,
Yep.
to okay, I kind of just need help with my business plan. So that's where we actually spend most of our time, is assisting individuals to get a business plan developed and completed properly for the purpose of getting financing at the bank. And hopefully that will be done with an SBA guarantee.
Yes. Yes.
And
So,
then a secondary part of that is the training and workshop that we provide, covering all the various business related
yes.
topics for small businesses. Uh, this could be how to start a business, business planning, financial projection and planning, marketing, small business taxation, access to capital, QuickBooks, uh, Excel, Word, etc. Just we do many. We do possibly about almost averaging almost four per month,
Yes.
one every week almost. So yeah,
Yes.
it's quite many that we put on here on Guam, plus across the whole network. All the our centers in the islands do all the same.
Yeah, very good. Very good. So, talk to me, since you started talking about the training classes and stuff. I'm interested in um, how the SBDC network is helping traditional businesses throughout Micronesia adapt to kind of the digital technologies, automation, and AI type tools. What kind of role is SBDC playing in that space?
Well, interestingly enough, starting in 2025, the SBA provided us a new goal. So usually they'll provide us some core goals and then some other side objectives. For example, previous years, cybersecurity was the objective. And so we had a means of certifying someone on staff for that. And so now 2025, they started a new AI certification training program for us. So this comes down through our ASBDC, our parent organization, who set up the program in conjunction with Google. So our parent organization received some funding for it, and so now we're just a part of this whole program and trying to get every at least one person in our network per location certified. So right now we have one certified in Guam, and then so probably in the next 3 to 4 months we'll have probably three more certified. So this is our main objective now is getting certified to AI and then assisting small business owners with AI driven tools, right? This is the objective.
Yes.
That we're trying to utilize these to assist small business people to understand how do you utilize these tools to help themselves and help their businesses. So at the end of the day, this will be done through the business counseling.
Yes. Yes. So SBDC obviously plays a huge role in economic development. So a big part of economic development really rests with workforce development. So SBDC, it sounds like your mission really is workforce development in terms of developing entrepreneurs and developing small business owners, developing their skills, their capabilities, and stuff. Can you kind of talk to how you approach that mission, how you market that training and stuff like that, and maybe even share some success stories?
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, the training is a key aspect of that. And as I noted, within that training, it also includes AI training and cybersecurity training. So these are ongoing things. We're not just doing them once, we're probably doing them at least every quarter. So we're looking to try to kick it up a notch. And so that way we get the awareness out there uh, to not only the training, but to get it to the counseling level so it's more one-on-one, so that way we can try to assist even more. So the way we get out the word on these kind of types of trainings is all primarily through our social media and through email blasts. So we have an ongoing marketing that we always do.
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, definitely we try to get the word out as much as possible. And then we try to get involved with some of our local organizations and being our own marketers by just being out there and talking with networking with people.
Understood. So, tell me about training for like specific or unique groups like youth entrepreneurs, veterans, or underserved communities in Micronesia. How do you tailor your training or market or get training delivered to those kind of communities?
Oh, well, we're just involved with different organizations. We have worked many years, for example, the youth. We worked many years with Junior Achievement. So we
Junior
will
achievement,
work
okay.
with that organization, right, to try to help and assist those groups with any particular assistance that they need. Plus, we actually get involved with towards maybe typically we get involved with judging the the teams at the end of those programs. So we always have an ongoing working relationship with them. In terms of veterans, that is also an ongoing long-term relationship. So we no longer have a veterans business outreach center here. We lost that many years ago, but the closest one is in Hawaii. But we have a strong relationship with them there, and the team there typically comes here every quarter, and we actually assist with them in putting on at least one presentation when they come, because usually they go out to the bases and do the presentations. But lately they've been also utilizing our training room to come and provide presentation to veterans, and so we will assist them in the marketing and setup of those trainings, at least a training when they come.
I will tell you that uh, I'm very active with HMI, and they do kind of the twice a year symposiums out there. And I was really happy to see, um, in addition to collaborating with the other veteran organizations on island, HMI had started reaching out and collaborating with you all at SBDC so that SBDC has a slot on the agenda during those veteran symposiums. I think that's really, really huge to have you all at those kind of functions to be able to kind of talk about what you bring to the fight, how you can help transitioning folks. So I was really, really happy to see that partnership and collaboration going on.
Definitely, the veterans, the youth, they're on our strategic objective every year. We always have as much as we possibly can do with as many partnerships as we can do. One last kind of partnership or segment that I would like to note that we're also involved with on an ongoing basis is agriculture,
Mm,
agricultural type of businesses. We work hand in hand also with the USDA FSA program.
yes.
We've always worked with them to do presentations. We work with farm to table. We try to do things. We work with USDA on an ongoing basis to do presentations. So yeah, I mean these are all ongoing things that we try to get involved with to help agricultural businesses. And
Yeah.
so we do quite a few presentations in partnership too. So this is our definitely some an area that we continue to work with.
Yeah, that's great to hear those kind of collaborations in agro business because that's so important here on the islands to be able to try to get to some kind of sense of food self-sufficiency. Um, one other community I wanted to kind of ask about. Can you talk to me about um, in poor or economically depressed kind of areas of either the island or the other islands? Do you have any kind of targeted marketing or programs to the poorer parts of the island or the communities?
Well, the whole islands, on all of the islands in which we have our centers, the whole island is our objective. It's just a matter of resources to actually get there and trying to set up some type of programs. But it's something we probably have to look into partnership with. And we have discussed a few partnerships because we're such limited resources that it's hard to get out as much as possible and do more because I haven't even informed to let you know that some of the other things we've been doing that have really taken all our time and uh, and which we're doing with the same level of resources as in the past. So we've
Mhm.
really expanded our scope, but with there, although there may not be something formalized, we'll help anyone and everyone that comes through our door whether they're in the south, the north, it doesn't really matter. I mean, we're going to help every single person on this island that needs help and that gets in contact with us. But if we could work out something with some type of partnership program to do something down in the southern parts or those that are probably more the really depressed areas, which although I think primarily the whole island is kind of feeling some level of slow economic environment right now, but uh, we're definitely open to always helping our fellow islanders there in the south.
Well, that's good to hear. Why don't we turn our attention to maybe some specifics? So, do you have any specific success stories or
Hmm.
specific projects where SBDC or clients of SBC kind of hit it big or made a particular impact?
Sure, sure. Some of our recent success stories, one can find in our what's called uh, partners in it's our disclosure in our Pacific Business Partner publication that we do on a semi-annual basis. So in this one, so some of the more recent ones we have are like Chesson Sabana. They do snacks, bite-sized treats. They're from Inarahan, which is the south.
All right.
Yeah. And then another one is Chubb's, which is a barbecue
Oh
place.
yeah, I love Chubb's barbecue.
And Ching Bakes. She's
Yeah, I
more,
love Ching
yeah,
Banks.
she does quite a bit. She's does more wholesale, but still she's quite busy putting out a lot
Yes,
of product. So these are just some of our recent ones, and you can tell they're all food, but the main types of businesses that we've probably helped well over the years concentrate primarily in retail and service. But obviously
yes.
food is service. So um, but yeah, a lot of food places, but definitely a lot of service oriented only businesses. Um,
Yeah, I love both of those businesses. I love their food. I love the barbecue brisket sandwiches and the pulled pork sandwiches from Chubb's. And Jennifer and her banana bread are, famous across the island. She's gotten into a lot of the Circle K 76 stores, and she was one of my cohort classmates during the 2025 Guma that just broke up. So yeah, I'm very familiar with Jennifer, and it's great to see her shining now on the back end of this because she was very, very quiet and she was scared to talk in public. And now you all at SBDC have her going around as a motivational speaker. So I was really excited to see that. That's really a great success story there.
right. But since you bring up that partner, Guma, that is a 13-year partner that we've been partnering with in their 16-week program. We normally do at least 12 out of the 16 weeks of the assisting them. So that kind of entrepreneurial, real micro business assistance is an
Yes.
excellent program and helps a lot of people. And we love it. And so we love that partnership and we will continue as long as we possibly can. It's just a fantastic program. But I'd like to share with you some of our other key partnerships that we have going on,
Yes,
such
please.
as Chamorro Village has been a long-term partner there. So they're actually under the Department of Chamorro Affairs, but Chamorro Village as a whole, they actually have to come through us because we have a long-standing agreement with Chamorro Affairs where they have to come through us and we help them put together their paperwork, their business plan, and their financial projection in order to for them to secure a slot there.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're
So
saying that any entrepreneur who wants to get a booth or space in Chamorro Village, they have to come through you to get approved before they can get a space and open up a shop there in Chamorro Village.
that's correct. That's correct.
Ah,
So we actually have to provide a sign off for that. We actually help them complete their financial projections. So once we done that and they have that presented in with their plan and their other documents, then they can get in. Then if there's an available slot, they can get in.
outstanding.
But some
Outstanding.
of our other key partnerships are the Guam Economic Development Authority. We have kind of a dual relationship. One is the STEP grant, which has to do with export. So we usually assist their export-oriented customers, clients. They'll come to us, we'll help them put together their export plan and also provide some export counseling if they need it. And then so that way, if they want to go down that export road, and then we've also provided some export training with them in the past.
Outstanding. I'm glad that you brought that up because I was going to specifically ask you about that. I know that's one of the strategic objectives that the government of Guam has to promote more exporting. We want to be able to export more Guam unique goods off the island. And I wanted to know if you all had a role there. So it's good that you told me about this STEP grant program.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, because that STEP grant is done through the SBA, They actually provide the funding, but so the only ones who can get it or usually are these economic development authorities that can get this kind of funds. So so that way we just partner with them in order to help them deploy those funds and provide assistance to the potential exporters. But we also have another relationship with GITA. It's called under the SSBCI. That is the State Small Business Credit Initiative. So what that is for is that it's actually a two level. One, they get funding through the Department of Treasury, and then they take part of the funding and provide guarantees to look for loans. So they have a couple of partners, bank partners. I think Bank of Guam and Bank Pacific are them. And then what they do for any loans that they do, they could, if they could work it out, they'll provide a guarantee on these small business loans. So
How does
that's
that
one
work?
level.
How do you apply for those? Do you have to apply through the bank, or do you have to apply straight through the government agency?
You go through the bank. The bank is the conduit. Then you just put when you put together your plan, which we would can assist with that. We would help them put together their plan and request that guarantee program. And then there's a level of documentation, right, that would have to be done, right, to secure the guarantee. But you still work through the bank. Will help you do everything. And then there's some obviously communication you have to have with GITA, but at least there isn't an overlap of documentation. It's just primarily through the bank and then communicating with GITA on it. But there's another
Okay.
level of this also. It's called under the venture program, but here GITA calls it Destino program. Under this Destino program, what's happened is GITA has set up a nonprofit entity, a separate entity from them. And then they utilize this entity to take equity stakes in businesses. They can give up, right now, they're giving up to $1 million. So they'll give up to $1 million in an equity stake, but it has to be matched almost dollar for dollar. So it's kind of like a 51-49, whereas the owners would take 51 and GITA would take up to 49, but it's almost 50-50, and then they'd have to come in with at least their 51% level of funding. So it's a match
Okay,
program.
understood. It's a matching
Yeah.
program.
But
All
it's
right.
a fantastic, but it's equity, and then there has to be a 10-year payback. But it's equity, so you're just paying back the same funds. It's not like a loan or anything, so which is a fantastic opportunity for people who have some little bit larger scale thoughts that need a little
Yes.
bit more funding. And
Yes.
yeah, so we've been doing a training program on that throughout this year. And we also provide always updated information and reminder on the program itself.
When's
So
your next training on that? I think I'd be interested in that.
the next one that's a good question, is July 17th. July
Okay.
17th, and that one is going to be Intro to Financial Statements, is just the
Okay.
training. And then once again, we'll always update and remind people about the Decino program.
Okay. So that's on the back end or incorporated into the financial statement training program. Okay.
Right. And
Very
then a
good.
couple of other programs we're involved with are Department of Public Health, the Child Care Bureau. We are providing business training throughout this whole year to child care businesses. So in this program with them, we're trying to educate and help these uh, owners and managers of these childcare businesses to kind of grow and develop their business knowledge on how to manage their childcare businesses. So it's been going fairly well, and then we've been attracting quite a few this year. So just like Gita's program, it'll carry out pretty much for the whole year. So we're also
Okay.
here for them to provide counseling as well. And then kind of the last
Okay.
main partner we have going on is Guam Realtors Association. This is primarily for all these independent contractor realtors out there. We're providing business training for them because we set up a program with them last year where we got approved for continuing education credits for them and their licensing. So we have this ongoing program as well.
So this program is real estate specific.
Well, it's business specific, meaning so these realtors are actually independent contractors, so they're individually licensed. So we're having them learn more on the business side. That we're not getting involved with the real estate side, but strictly the how to manage, how to operate and how to,
Your own small business, yeah,
right.
operating as a small independent contractor. Okay, I understand now. Yeah, that's good. That's really interesting.
So yeah, we
Um,
have a lot going on this year.
Lots of great partnerships out there going on, and that's really makes it impactful and amplifies your impact in the community by collaboration with all of these different entities. So that's great to see that going on. Can you tell me a little bit of the history and background on Startup Micronesia? Obviously, we just finished Startup Micronesia last week, and I was lucky enough to be able to participate in that. Really enjoyed the education and the entrepreneurial experience of that. But can you tell me the background and history of that and kind of what the intent is?
Sure. So Startup Micronesia is our own invention of sorts, but it's kind of a takeoff of a previous program called Startup Tech. So what happened is that this program is structured through, there's a program or organization in the States that has this structure to it that one would follow, but they'd have to kind of, I think they pay in a little bit to it. So we used to do it in conjunction with C4EI here at the university. We were just a
Okay.
participant. So but we would utilize our whole network to be involved. But so we were just participating. We weren't the lead. It was actually through C4EI and the Entrepreneurial Society here, kind of running it.
Mhm.
But what happened maybe about back in 2023 when we were trying to get back on track after COVID with them. We were trying to get back since 2022 and couldn't do it. And then we tried again in 2023. And when we found out that just they weren't going to do it, we said, well, shoot, then we need to try to help ourselves and help small business people in some form. So we just took it upon ourselves to do it ourselves and strike up our own type. So that's why we can't use that same name because it's I think it's a licensed name. So we just said still startup because that's the objective, but it's Micronesia because that's our region. So this is our own doing, and so now we just run our own program. So because we want to see our clients benefit out in our region.
Yeah, that was a great program. Like I said, it was great learning. It was great experience and training, putting together a business plan and pitch that quickly, and then competing against other teams across Micronesia. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it is a dynamic 54-hour program, and it really kind of brings together people to really have a solid objective of trying to refine themselves and get that pitch down so that they could be competitive and try to get some initial seed money to start their business.
Outstanding. So, Fred, as we start getting to the close, what's one piece of policy or programmatic support you believe Guam really needs to unleash a new wave of entrepreneurial and tech growth? Uh, not just here on Guam, but really throughout Micronesia.
Wow. Our main issue out here is access to capital.
Yes.
If we could tap into some easier, um, I just don't want to just make it sound like it should just be dumped on us, but we need some way to have a an alternative form of access to capital that someone, especially in our region where it's primarily just the FDIC banks, credit unions that kind of have to follow a certain criteria as well. Um, and then a few sprinkling of programs like Guma, which are still they're great, but they're not, it's not broad based enough to provide enough funding. So, having said that, we need some type of alternative access to capital to help these small businesses. Uh, so that's the key, because it doesn't really matter which part it is, tech growth or even buying inventory or buying equipment, um, whatever it's still, you need funding to get things going. So that's really been the one of the toughest impacts in our whole region here is getting those funding to get things off the ground or expansion wise. So if we could find that, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, Fred, I think you really hit the nail on the head with that one. As a new entrepreneur, I've been very frustrated with the lack of access to capital and certain financial products here on Guam that are readily available CONUS. And I'm actually doing some research. I'm working with some folks at the local banks and other places because I don't understand why. There's a lot of different creditors and banks, particularly new school, fintech, online type banks and online creditors that are very plentiful, that provide lots of capital to new entrepreneurs. But as soon as you put in that Guam address, it's done. They're not doing any business with you. And I'm trying to understand, is it an issue with laws or policy here on Guam that's keeping them out? Or is there a perceived or a perception, a negative perception on the business's account that makes them not want to do business in Guam? But I'm trying to put together a whole podcast episode on this because I think it's very, very important. But you hit the nail on the head. Do you have any insight into that? Being a former banker, do you know what's keeping um, creditors, online banks, and even like merchant accounts like Stripe and stuff? What's keeping these folks out of Guam? Why aren't they doing business in Guam?
Well, there is one part of it is that there are laws on Guam that say that you're not supposed to do any lending functions here unless you're licensed here on Guam. So that does exist. So it's kind of like a what's the term? It's like a protectionary. It's a protectionary for the existing financial institutions that are domiciled here. So that those laws exist. However, I don't know what's preventing these online like fintechs from not wanting to move, because there might be some legal characteristics to it, and it also might be just a lack of knowledge of our region. But eventually, I think those online ones will kind of eventually come around, I would imagine, because I don't see what the holdup would be, because when you're in that realm, you should have the capability to pretty much lend to whomever you want.
Absolutely. That's if you're doing um, online and you're already taking advantage of cyberspace to do your business, and your whole business model is built around that. What's keeping you from doing business in Guam? It doesn't make any sense to me. Like I said, I'm trying to research it because I think there's an entrepreneurial opportunity in just that. If that can open up, there's a whole uh, population of folks. Now, granted, those people in the States would see it as a very small population, but to the people here on Guam who are trying to start businesses and stuff, to have all of these different options for access to uh, capital, as well as once they get their business established, to have access to merchant accounts like Stripe and other things that are cutting edge right now to help them run their business better, it's going to mean the world.
Yeah, definitely would help quite a bit. I think part of it too is that some of these fintech companies, it's just in company policies. Probably they're not to that realm where they understand. So I don't think they've made decisions to come out to our region. Just part of its lack of understanding.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Fred, thank you so much for taking time out to be a guest here. And I will tell you personally, I appreciate what the Small Business Development Center does and their mission because I've been a client. I can give my own personal testimony. I stepped out into this entrepreneurial world the end of last summer, and I became a client with you in the fall timeframe. And to just see my growth and progress since the fall of last year to now, it's been huge. And a lot of that has to do with the training, the support, and the encouragement that I got from the Small Business Development Center here in Guam. So thank you. I appreciate what you all do, not just for the community at large, but what you specifically did for me. So thank you.
Oh, and Rob, I forgot to say we're free. Yeah,
Yes,
we're
yes, it's
free.
all free.
Yeah. Well, the training costs a small amount. It's usually like
But it's a
$20.
negligible amount.
Yeah,
It's
they're
what,
small.
20 to 50 bucks, depending on
Yes.
what class you're taking. It's a negligible
Yeah.
amount of money to get the kind of access to training and resources that you're
But
offering.
counseling is all free. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you for your insights. This is a great conversation and a really powerful reminder about how startups, entrepreneurs, and small businesses really drive that economic growth that we're going to need here in Guam and across Micronesia. So thank you so much, Fred, for what you do um, with the SBDC. So to my audience, I hope you were inspired and you learned something. Please remember to follow me on all social media platforms, including Substack. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and stay up to date on all future episodes. And don't forget to check out my Innovate column in the Pacific Daily News the first and third Fridays of each month. Until the next time I see you, please remember always, 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 whether you're at work, at home, or at play, always innovate. Thank you.